One and a two and a... Oh, hi there. Welcome back to the Silent Bard Tavern for our second episode of the Phantoms of Talva campaign. I'm the Silent Bard, your host, and you are listening to an actual play podcast where we play D&D and D&D and D and D&D 5e, where you'll get to listen to us roll dice, make funny voices, and do other things that we're not really good at. You'll notice that this episode our sound quality did go up a bit, but I ain't promising much. But without further ado, I present to you Book 1, Chapter 2, Vermin in the Hole. Last time on Phantoms of Talva. On the great Isle of Narvan, between the northern wilds and the Sunderlands, sits the Republic of Talva, cobbled together by 9 of the lesser lords who took the palace and now sit as representatives of their respective provinces. Talva's Senate struggles to maintain order as they face threats from both within and without.
Well, she heard that there is a wizard here, and she's currently hoping to find out if he's willing to take her in as an apprentice.
I would be chronicling, checking my maps to find the next place to find magical items of interest.
She kind of stops and looks at the book, and realizing what it is, she kind of says, excuse me, what's this book? Where did it come from?
Stopping my very gracious tour, turn back, observe the book. A book that I've received recently that I cannot read.
Recently can mean a lot of things. This particular book has been in your possession for almost 50 years now. He looks up at you. Momentous, yes. More soldiers off the front line. More troubles coming in. They celebrate today, tomorrow. They weep.
So last time, you guys were going to follow the mayor out of the inn to see what she was up to. And just as you do, a fight breaks out inside the bar. And so I'm going to need you all to roll initiative. But we're going to do this in a way where you could fight, or you could spend your turns attempting to get out of the bar.
That's a 54 for stealth.
21.
Oh! You should 20. Plush.
Of course it is.
22.
I'm going to ban you from using those.
No, you're not allowed. Sure, dicey best dice.
You really had to one-up me with that, didn't you?
You got a 21?
Yeah.
Alright. So, you guys are at the far end of the bar from the door. What do you want to do? Starting with top of the order, Arthur.
Yo, I did one up you. No one's above me.
Wow.
How tall is this building? How flammable would you say it is? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my
No.
gosh, no. It is not tall enough for you to fly, if that's what you're asking. I would say it's maybe a 10-foot ceiling.
Dang, so close yet so far. Alright, who's fighting? Who's fighting who?
Everybody.
It's just a straight Western bar fight? Everyone's just throwing hands?
Basically. Like, adult food fight turned fist fight.
Food fight! Someone throws a glass bottle.
Nobody's drawn weapons or anything. It's just a straight, like, brawl.
Oh, dearie me, it seems as a fight has broken out. Well, it's in our best interest not to harm anyone too severely. I know you're new to this place, but everyone here, except a few of those soldiers, I've been here long enough that they're basically family to me. So, if you would, my dear, I would refrain from decapitation and deep lacerations.
That is the longest sentence in 6 seconds I've ever heard.
Real.
I said it fast. What do you mean? It's the start of the fight, right? So technically time slows down the moment I do something. Like Quicksilver.
Okay.
And then I go like Quicksilver, I'm gonna speed.
So you think you have this whole conversation with her, but all she heard is, "Meh."
Alright, I'm gonna try to leave then. I'm gonna roll my best stealth and try to sneak past everyone.
Roll it.
Double dexterity. That is, what is that? 1 and 8? 8. 9. Okay, that's 20. Not natural. It's pretty plastic if you ask me.
Nobody's particularly paying attention to you, and there's just so much chaos going on here. So this is how I'm going to describe this. You are just so good at not drawing attention to yourself at this moment, which is rather peculiar for you, being the only Owlin in the room and wearing very fancy clothes and a very tall top hat. You manage to not only not draw attention to yourself, you manage to not draw any fight towards yourself. Like, people are fighting around you, and it's almost like there's this invisible barrier guarding you from people even running into you, and you're just bobbing and weaving and hopping over people. It's almost like a old school Jackie Chan skit of just like, you walk, suddenly stop, people fly across in front of you, then you keep going.
Oh, good heavens.
Then, like, you tilt your head as something goes flying past you from behind. There's just things being tossed. And you're just walking straight for the door?
Yes.
Alright, you get to the door in your turn.
Now follow my lead!
Birds of prey. Let me tell you.
My character can try to hide under the table.
Your character's gonna just hide under the table?
Yeah.
Alright. Go ahead and also roll me a stealth.
That was a 16.
Okay. I mean, so that you both understand, like, the DC for not being seen by anyone was like 5.
Oh.
We're that good.
I wasn't trying to hide. I was just going under the table.
So you're hiding under the table and nobody sees you. Are you gonna do anything else?
She's gonna try to, like, get out if she sees openings and stuff.
I'm gonna go under the table. I'm gonna get out from under the table.
She actually just carries the table with her. People just think it's a floating table.
Yes, perfect.
Do it. Give me a strength check for that.
Oh my god. No. Alright. On a 16, I'll say you could get most of the way without any trouble.
Okay, how about this? I get most of the way, but I end up hiding underneath the table. We'll go with that. Okay.
Alright. It is people's turn.
Somebody's gonna take my money, bro.
Alright. Arthur, what is your armor class?
It's 11. I mean 10. I don't have armor on.
Your AC is 10. Oh my gosh. You get hit, my friend.
He's going to hit me with a frying pan!
So a bottle comes flying straight across the bar, unintentionally, and it just smashes against your left shoulder, and you take 4 bludgeoning damage.
Oi! This jacket's imported! Don't you dare rip it!
I'm pretty sure that Hannah's armor class is higher than 4, right?
Yeah.
So you're there hiding under a table, and suddenly someone crashes through the opposite half of the table that you're hiding under, and they're just like, they look at you and they have like the dumbest smile on before they pass out. And it is now Arthur's turn again.
So, this is gonna be a little crazy. See if you can keep up with what I'm saying. I'm gonna put my hand on the door handle. Open that sucker up. And walk out.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I knew it was too crazy.
I don't know if I can handle that right now. That's it. You ruined my whole plan. That's it. There goes today's game. You guys were supposed to die in this bar.
Oh, sorry, laddie, that I've got a great mind for running away.
Same time next week then?
Same time next week. Bye, guys. All right, Hannah.
So I was gonna ask you. So prestidigitation says I can snuff out a light.
Prestidigitation.
Would you let me snuff out? Would you let me snuff out all the light, or no?
It has its
No,
own.
I think thaumaturgy is the one that could do that.
Prestidigitation is only a small
Prestidigitation can
zone.
only do one.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, I have a stain on my shirt. It's time to magic erase it.
All right, I can't be cool. And if I try to do a perception, you said that would count as my turn.
That'll count as your action, yes. Not your turn, but your action.
So it's either escape or look around. Those are my options.
You could also attack someone if you wanted to, but
Why the heck would I do that? I'm gonna try to leave again.
alright. That's just your movement.
Oh my gosh, it's not gonna work. Wait, oh, is this my movement? Okay, then I just try to
Yeah.
leave.
You manage to also bob and weave and get your way out the rest of the way. And when you get outside, the two of you are staring at a few more soldiers standing around who weren't aware of what was going on inside the bar, and they just start to flock towards the inn like, what the heck is going on? And one of the ones that kind of runs past you is Boris. Oh, sorry, excuse me.
Is that the captain?
Is Boris gonna die in there, bro?
Wait, who's that guy again?
Boris is the one that's known as the Prince of Garage. He's the big guy with the big sword.
Yeah, that suspicious guy is gonna kill him.
Alright, while the rest of the guards are running in, just like, yes, go deal with them. Look what they ruined my jacket. Oh, but do be kind to them. They seem to be just having a little bit of a fight. Nothing truly to worry about.
Well, I'm not worried about them. I'm worried I'm going to miss out on all the fun.
Oh, well, if it's fun to you, why don't you go pick a fight with local bandits then? Shouldn't be fun tearing up family from family.
Maybe check up on the mayor too.
He scratches his head at you and he's like, but Arthur, you know it's only play.
Oh, it's their play that ruins the shoulder of my jacket. And also quite possibly bruised my arm, but the jacket's more expensive.
He kind of like takes a look at you and then looks at Hannah. And he pauses for a second and he's like, I've never seen you in town before.
My character looks around a little nervously. She's like, oh, you know, I'm new to town. But I was gonna say to your character, are you sure you're okay?
Oh, I'm quite alright. It wasn't that bad. I'm more worried about the jackets. You can't quite replace this part of it. You'd have to buy a whole new one.
And my character looks at him confused and she's like, can't you just use prestidigitation on it? It doesn't mend, but it cleans.
They ripped it. They threw a bottle at me.
I didn't say it ripped your jacket. The bottle just broke against your back.
Broke against the back of my shoulder, but didn't rip my clothes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It definitely got it full of whatever alcoholic beverage was in it.
Oh, okay. just gonna look at it and say oh, it is messy. Oh, it's quite alright. Looking at it now, I think it's mostly just liquid from the bottle, actually. And you are quite right. That is a good use of prestidigitation. And I just sway my finger over it to clean the liquid off.
Well, when you finish cleaning it, she kind of is like, do bar fights usually happen around here?
Bors, who was kind of a little paused by this interaction, he's like, well, when the fight is over, maybe you and I can get drink?
My character looks at Bor and then back at the owl, and he's like, are you talking to me?
Well, I'm not talking to Arthur. He's been here longer than I think even my family.
She's kind of blushing, and she kind of grabs her bag strap, and she's like, oh, well, I'm a little busy, but I appreciate it. I'm sure you're great. And she starts backing up a little. I kind of gotta go. And starts walking towards the museum.
Well, how long are you in town?
Long enough.
Oh, pay her no mind. She's a strange girl. I don't even think she knows the duration of time she will be in town. I bid you good day and luck with your fight. Best of days to you.
Alright, I guess I'll see you later. And he turns around and just rushes right into the fray of the bar. Alright, so you two are outside the bar. You know the mayor went back to the town hall. What are you gonna do?
I was walking towards the museum because I was a little flustered.
How late is it?
It was still early in the day, I think.
Yeah, I think it was probably not even lunchtime.
Alright, let's head to the town hall then.
My character's on her way to the museum. You'd have to stop her.
Alright, I'll fly in front of you.
She's like, whoa.
He's like that little annoying bird trying to peck at your head, except he's like a full-size man.
So I just land in front of you. I'm just like, where are you headed? We still must follow up the lead on the mayor.
She's still blushing, and she kind of looks at you surprised. And she's like, oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I lost my head for a moment. And she composes herself, takes a deep breath, and then she looks at you. She's like, okay, lead the way.
I'm just gonna point the way. I wanted her to walk forward a little bit. Go on ahead, I'll be right behind you.
So she walks forward, very confused.
So I'm gonna look at the imaginary camera and she's like,
Oh, she's going ahead of her heels for the pretty boy.
So I'm walking.
alright, now that I got the joke out, I'm gonna follow behind you and start leading you. Explaining all the different buildings and when they were made, down to the last brick in the pavement.
My character is super interested in everything he's talking about. And that's no sarcasm.
Alright, so, while explaining the history of most buildings and you seeming interested, I point out, and if you look past here, down that alleyway, there was actually a brawl between multiple guards that went from here. And one that was. It was a moment of pride, because you see, the guard that was from here, completely unarmed, against the guards that went from here, completely armed and quite drunk, got into a very serious fight. In our superior training, the guard actually managed to fend them all off without giving them a scratch, and also without receiving one of his own. And it was quite a sight right in front of the town hall.
What a skilled warrior. She says truly like, wow, this is amazing.
That's why it's very obvious to point out the people that aren't from here. They just don't have the certain confidence that our soldiers have. They don't hold their weapons the same. They don't hold their shields the same. They don't hold their heads up high. They just seem off, and I don't quite know how to explain it.
Do you think that I could ever have such confidence?
Only if you realize that tying your shoes backwards does not lead to tying your shoes the right way.
She looks visibly confused. Looks like she's about to say something and opts not to.
Walking up to a stone, I just tap it with the back of my finger talon claw thing. It's like, oh, and here, when I was helping build this place, I had lost a pocket watch, and only realized I had lost it when I was walking past and heard it ticking from within the stone. It had stopped ticking a very long time ago, but I still remember its location.
Alright, so you're trotting along, talking about different events that have happened in town. And Hannah really begins to get the sense that, man, this guy really has been here a long time. And it doesn't take you more than 5 minutes to cross the square and get to Town Hall. And unlike the museum, Town Hall seems to be made of imported stones and these large marble columns and just the ornate door. It looks like someone spent a lot of money in this building to get it looking the way that it does. There's like a fresh coat of paint on it that looks like somebody just painted it yesterday. It's very clean, very pristine. And as you walk in, it's got a very high vaulted ceiling with paneled walls and tile flooring. They spared no expense in this building.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it considerably apparent how much more money, or like compared to the other buildings in the town, is it just much more taken care of kind of thing?
It gives you the impression that the money that paid for this building may not have come from this town.
Oh. Well, I don't think she would have made that assumption, so she might just look around like and do a little whistle.
It gives you the impression that the cost of this building is more than what the economic situation of this town, even with some of the older families in town, it seems like it's more than what they would afford to pay for a building.
Okay. So my character does like a little whistle and she's just like, well, it seems like the politicians in this town are well taken care of.
You know how it is. People in power, they want to flaunt their power. I see it more as if you have power, it should be spread amongst evenly to help others.
My character looks a bit unimpressed. She's just gonna kind of side-eye you for a second and be like, that's an interesting take on it.
As you two are chatting it up, you do notice, stepping out of his office, which is to the right, there's a large half-orc man, which you recognize, Arthur, as the local tax collector, Gunther the Stern. And as he steps out of his office, he's locking it and he turns and then he sees you two, hearing you talk about spreading power, and he just kind of... And then he's kind of makes his way over to you, Arthur.
Good day, sir. Oh, and a quite merry day to you as well. Where are you off to, Gunther?
I was going to head over to the general store to get me some lunch. How about you? And
he looks over at Hannah.
And I've never seen you before. Is she new to town, a niece?
Oh yes, we look strikingly similar, don't we? Definitely blood related. No, she is just visiting for a while. No need to pay her any mind. I was just showing her the history of this great little town we call home. And we just happened to be here as the end of the tour. I hope you had a great time listening to the stories of this old place. But now we must head inside. It was good seeing you, Gunther. Hope your day is merry.
Go ahead and make me a deception check, please.
You ain't beating me. I'm gonna use a silver dice. That's a 14. Deception? That wasn't total. That was just a 14 roll. It would have been a 18.
He looks you over, and then he kind of like stares down at Hannah, and he's like,
Well, if you ever want a useful tool, you can always come see me in my office. I'll show you around town and show you the right things.
Sounds like a spicy invitation. What's going on here?
what?
Sounds like a spicy invitation. Like, what is this?
I tried to mute, but I couldn't find the button. If you ever want a useful tool, you know what's waiting in my office, right?
All right, I'm gonna just re-say all of that.
I was like, oh yeah, useful tool, huh?
He stares down at Hannah and he says,
Yeah. I guess this old windbag would know everything in town. Well, I'll see you around then. Going to get my lunch.
and he just turns and leaves.
I appreciate that you gave up on that.
You know, there was a reality that I foresaw where he was genuinely off-footing in that sentence.
My character, she goes, oh, you can see things now, wizard.
Well, the school of chronomancy is a hard one to learn, but it allows me to see things others cannot. Like things that could have happened, the things that should have happened, things that could have, should have, would have happened if it wasn't for what I saw.
Well, I'd rather not know those things, so don't ever do that to me.
Well, I foresaw that back when I made that shoe tying reference, that you were supposed to look down, and I was to prestidigitation your laces together.
She again looks a little confused, opens her mouth like she's going to say something, decides not to, and continues to walk, looking for the reception desk.
Right. The reception desk is not hard to find. It's this big, old, ornate desk towards the head of the hall. And, of course, there is an elf sitting there, shuffling through papers. His hair is a bit of a mess, and he's in the same or similar double-breasted uniform as you see most of the soldiers and officers wearing.
So she's going to walk up to the front desk and look at him and be like, I didn't realize soldiers worked in the mayor's town hall.
He looks up, and you can tell he's very young and impressionable. He's got pale skin and freckles with greenish eyes, and his hair, which again is in a mess, it's got like a reddish tint to it.
Oh, yes. You see, you're not from around here, are you? Well, the thing is that, most, government jobs are military jobs.
Interesting. She's gonna look at the wizard, almost like it's your turn to talk.
All right. Oh, old fellow, it's good to see you again. Did you enjoy that tea I've given you last week?
Oh yes, Arthur, thank you. It was very soothing. I was able to sleep after all. You don't happen to have any more, do
Oh,
you?
I'm sorry, my dear fellow. Shipment should come in next week. You come to my museum, I'll give you a pack.
Oh, okay. I guess I will have to go back to Nana's old method for now.
He kind of looks up at the both of you again, sort of like shifting between the two, and you could see kind of like a realization in his eyes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you here to see someone specific?
I'm gonna just put my hand in my pocket and prestidigitate a note that just like, I don't know if it's supposed to have a stamp or not. I assume I would know a stamp from all this time here. which is like official business that this crazy elf lady wants to be seen by the mayor.
So let me get this straight. You're putting a stamp on a piece of paper that you had in your pocket?
He's prestidiating it into his hand.
Yes, there's nothing in my pocket. I'm just sticking my hand down my pocket, making the note and an official stamp if there is one. Requesting to see Hannah. It can last up to an hour or the end of my turn.
He takes a look at the note and he reaches over to grab it from you.
It is physical if I want it to be. So go ahead, touch it, bro. I hand it over to him.
So he takes it, he's looking it over really hard. I'm gonna have you roll performance here, and the DC is 15 to see how well you matched the mayor's handwriting in your prestidigitation.
I ain't proficient in everything but performance. You said performance, right?
Yep.
Okay. What is that? 16? 17, 18.
Okay. He looks it over and he's like, no, right. Well, she just got into her office, but I don't think she's busy. I didn't see anybody else in there. You could go ahead. I mean, as long as you've been here, I don't imagine anyone would deny you if it really is important business. And he sets the note to the side and like continues to shuffle through some papers. Well, nice to meet you.
And I'm gonna do another little deception on him because I want that back. Oh, my dear boy, I'm actually going to need that note, but do not bother handing it to me. Rather, I would like to show you this magic I've been working on. I'd like to snap my fingers and end that prestidigitation and just make the exact same one back in my hand. Teleportation! How do you like it, my fellow?
He looks at you like starry-eyed. Oh, wonderful as always, Arthur. Wonderful. If only you could produce tea that quickly.
I tell you, once I've mastered this, no shipments will need a week to get here.
He kind of like goes back to his papers.
I just grab onto like Hannah from the shoulder and just kind of like push her forward. Like, hurry along. People here are dull, but not that dull. I'm gonna make sure I say now that I whispered that. The old man just looks up and says, "What you coming? Throw hands!"
That he pushed me along, so I'm being pushed along.
Okay, so to the left, you find a staircase behind the receptionist area that leads up to a loft where there is a double door at the top of the stairs that you have to knock at.
I'm gonna be over the top, make a knocker with prestidigitation, and knock that way.
Hello? Is your Wi-Fi running?
Yes, it is now. Thank you.
Hello?
Oh, right. Is this the mayor? Does it sound like the mayor?
Yeah, it's the mayor.
Okay. Oh, madam, I was wanting to speak to you about something, and I thought it would be best to just come and meet you in your office to not disturb anyone with any troubling news I might bring up.
Is that you, Petrikov? Yes, come in, please.
I'm just gonna shimmy along Hannah so she's not behind me at all. And then once I'm closing the door... Never mind, I won't do that. That's kind of weird. I'm just gonna walk inside.
Wait, what were you gonna do?
I was gonna put a do not disturb on the door handle.
Oh, the spicy opposite cottage.
Oh, you went there, huh? I was like, oh, you're gonna murder her. No, you just went like, whoa, bro.
Why would it be weird otherwise?
You never watched spy movies, have you?
I guess not.
I'm just gonna walk in.
Alright, you guys walk into the office. And she is sitting at her desk and she has her hands to her temple and she's just like rubbing her head. And she's not even looking up at you. And she's just like, come in, Arthur. Come in.
Can I just prestidigitate calming music by her head? And she's like, oh, madam, you look stressed. What has come over you?
She hears the music and she like kind of looks up like, what the heck? And then she notices Hannah in the room as well and she's like, oh, you brought her as well. Does this matter concern her as well? Is this about the payment?
Listen, Arthur, look. If this is about the coin, I cannot take care of that right now. I have too many things on my plate. How about you come back at the end of the week?
Can I try to look at the notes that she's looking at? Like, sneakily or obviously, whatever, just gets me looking at them quick.
I mean, go ahead and roll me a perception check.
15. 14 plus 1.
15.
Yes.
It looks like a bunch of official documents to you.
I don't catch, like, do I catch, like, this words, word for word on the papers?
Nah, you're not. You're not, like, hovering over them, reading them.
Dang, bro.
They just look like very official documents. Stuff coming in, stuff going. They're in different organized stacks. And what is Hannah doing when she comes in?
So she's just kind of standing there awkwardly watching the exchange because she doesn't know anybody well enough. But then, sorry, just to confirm, he was trying to talk to her and she was trying to brush him off, right?
Because she thinks he's there for coin.
She's gonna kind of pipe up a little and be like, we can assure you it's not regarding coin.
Is there another problem?
We were just, in the neighborhood. I was discussing all the history, the homes nearby, and the buildings afar. But I had reminded myself when I saw this building that you looked displeased at the return of the soldiers. And I just wanted to see what was up with that. Homeboy throwing gang signs? No, I'm just kidding.
She gives you a bit of a confused look.
I don't say the last part.
She still gives you a bit of a confused look, and she's like, Arthur, we talked about this back at the inn. The captain is a bit high-strung. He's just stressed, being so close to the border and all. But, I am fine. I am happy. The soldiers need reprieve. There's just a lot more than just borders and all that. There's stresses in town as well. Issues we have here at home. It's a lot.
My character's gonna step forward and be like, if I may, we are magic users and we might be able to assist with some of the issues that are pressed upon your shoulders. If you would just open up to us.
Dang, that's almost word for word what I was gonna say.
Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check.
Dang, and I had proficiency in persuasion as well.
Oh, poor baby.
Well, you didn't want to have this conversation.
Alright, let's see. Alright, Google, don't let me down. Oh, yeah! Okay. Persuasion. Let me just see what I get added here. And close there. I zoomed out too much. Alright, persuasion's plus 3, so 22.
Dang.
Okay. So she kind of eases up a bit, and she looks between the two of you. Arthur, I trust you. You've been here longer than anyone in this town. I'm sorry. Look, if you want to help with something, perhaps you can go down. And she's like, excuse me. She starts rummaging through her papers, looking for something. Yes, okay, here it is. Perhaps you can go down to the garage farm. Down by their vineyard to the press house. They seem to be having some issues as of late with local vermin, and I cannot spare any soldiers.
So you would send an old man down to their farm to deal with the ruffians?
Ruffians? I don't know. No, that's not bandits, it's vermin.
You would send an old man to get a rabies from vermin?
She kind of sizes you up and down.
Aren't you a large owl?
My character nods her head and crosses her arms. She's like, she got an absolute golden point.
Oh, now that is absurd. Yes, that is true. I guess I would... words. I guess I could take a look at that for them, but when I return, you will give me more information of what troubled you.
I told you, there is just a lot that I am dealing with, Arthur, please. Now, if you truly want to help, please go down and help the garages with their issues.
And then she said that you handed me a paper? That's what I was gonna say. You said she handed me the paper?
No, she didn't hand the paper over. She was just looking at it.
Oh, bruh.
She rummaged through her stuff to look at the official request.
Alright.
And the request, may I see it?
Certainly, here.
I'm gonna look over his shoulder to see it, but I guess I'm not tall enough, so I look next to him.
I'm gonna prestidigitate a copy for her.
I said, oh, thank you.
What vermin are we dealing with?
It doesn't say a specific type, it just says that there's been an uptake in crops being ruined and destroyed, but they haven't been able to find out what it is.
Okay.
Well, so my character's gonna look at him and be like, you wouldn't have any tracking spells, would you? Can't say that my tracking skills would be too good.
So, as a nomad, you didn't have to track down your dinner?
No, the older people did that.
What is with everyone in sending old men to do their work?
I don't say that part.
No, dude, that works. I'm all for that.
Do I have tracking spells? Kind of.
Is there? She looks at the.
Okay.
She looks at the mayor. She's like, "You wouldn't happen to know anybody in town who's good at tracking and might be able to assist us?"
As you ask her for another tracker, she looks up again.
I just told you, I cannot spare anyone else. If you want, why don't you go down and ask the captain? Maybe he has somebody who can help you out.
We'll take care of it then. Don't you worry. My character's like deeply concerned now. She's like, "Come on, Arthur, let's go figure this out then." And she starts kind of like leaving the room, backward walking, awkwardly starts moving forward.
Must be a strange custom for finding the exit to a room. Anyway, good day, Mayor. I'll go deal with this problem for you, and hopefully the issues are resolved by the time it's finished.
До свидания, Arthur.
Alright, so I'll just go back out. Follow Hannah. In the exact same fashion, I'll walk backwards. Fully thinking it's a tradition that they do. To get out of her room.
You guys are moonwalking down the stairs.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So as we're leaving, my character's like, "Wow, the mayor looks so stressed out over some rats." And she like waves the paper around. It's so weird.
You wave your paper around?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, sorry, I can't keep that up forever.
Snap my fingers and the paper disappears.
Yes, it is strange that she was so stressed, and she couldn't spare a single soldier for these vermin. And even stranger that the people living there, they couldn't deal with these vermin by themselves. So it must be of some danger. But it can't be of much danger because they didn't send anyone.
My character kind of stops in her tracks and looks at him like dead serious, like, do you think she's trying to kill us? Maybe she thinks we're onto her.
Oh, if she wanted to kill me, she could have done so a long time ago by switching my tea for poison leaves. And even then, I don't think it would work. But if she was trying to kill us, a farm is a horrible place to do it.
She kind of looks you up and down. She's like, she probably wants a good barbecue, and then starts walking towards the tavern.
Hey, I've lived long enough to know of elves that resort to cannibalism.
My character chuckles. I wouldn't call cannibalism eating a bird.
I got no response to that. Cannibalize your mom. Oh, God.
Your character just looks shocked and makes like a chicken sound.
Alright, so you guys are leaving her office and you're going where? She recommended you go talk to the captain of the guard.
Last we saw him was at the tavern.
Or you could go straight to the Gadash press house.
I want to go talk to the captain of the guard.
Okay, so you're gonna head back to the tavern?
Oi!
Yes.
To the inn?
Yes.
The tavern.
So you guys come out and it's clear across the way that some of the rabble rousing is still going on, but some of the soldiers have begun to kind of crawl out of the inn, kind of slung over each other's shoulders, heading towards their respective homes or towards a barracks somewhere if they're on duty.
Alright. So I'm following the schmecks, because I don't know who's who.
The schmecks. You made me sound French.
The schmecks. The garçon.
Alright, so I'll just go straight into that tavern.
Tavern?
Yeah.
Alright, so you guys head to the inn. You see the people walking out. It's at this point, Hannah, that you notice a group of goblins that is moving about the inn, cleaning, working, picking up silverware and dishes and mugs and trash that has been thrown around. And you hear Natasha barking out orders to them and telling other patrons to calm down as the fight seems to dissipate. And you see Captain Jork is in there scolding the soldiers that started the fight.
What is wrong with you? This is no way for you to act, not with our borders compromised the way they are. How can we all be fighting amongst ourselves like this?
My character, she looks at Arthur and she's like, our border is compromised? What does that mean?
Well, if the border is compromised, I would assume that the edges of the border would have to be compromised to have been compromised.
My character looks annoyed with that answer.
That water is wet.
And that's what I was going for.
So she looks a little annoyed and then she looks back at him and she's like, well, you could talk to the captain. I don't really want to talk to him. I'm just going to sit here. She's going to find a chair that's not broken or anything and then just start playing like a soothing tune in hopes that it would help the environment.
What time would you say it was before we got in here?
It's probably after lunch now, like between noon and 1.
Okay. So I'm gonna jauntily walk myself up. Is that the right word? What is a jauntily walk?
You're gonna saunter your way over?
Give me a second.
He's gonna slurp his way over to the captain.
No, what I said was right. I'm gonna jauntily walk. Not up to the captain. Up to a goblin. And she's like,
can they make much trouble for you? Every time they fight here, they seem to break more and more items.
Birdman. Yeah.
I'll never bring few things, but we clean good, yeah?
Oh, I see. Yes, you do clean very well. Well, I will not disturb your work much longer. Hope you're being treated fair by Miss Raincoff.
Oh, yeah, we ain't good. We have soft bread today.
You think soft bread? This lady feeding the goblins hardtack?
Hardtack is for good days. This is an extra special day.
Alright, I know it.
He's like, oh, that is very good. You know what? If you guys keep up the good work, one of these days she might even give you soup. Now imagine that.
His eyes widen.
Soup? You think I have meat? Meat soup? Meat soup? Meat soup? Meat soup?
Like several of them are like chiming in, like meat soup. They rub their bellies and then they keep going at it.
Jolly good. Continue on.
Now I will go to the captain of the guard. I'm just gonna tap him on his armor. No, not tap. I'm gonna flick him on his armor.
Yeah, just to remind you, it's very 1800s, like officer wear, like the double-breasted coat, the decorated shoulder pads, the trim.
So he has a badge?
Rope. He has like several badges on his left chest,
Alright.
on the left side of his chest. But you recognize him. You've seen him plenty.
Alright, so I want to make a prestidigitate copy. I'm just going to call that spell Merlin.
I'm
So
just
I
gonna
can't-
call you prestidigitation.
Prestidigitonium. I'm going to call it just Merlin. When I say I'm going to Merlin a spell, I just assume I mean prestidigitate. Because that's where I know the prestidigitonium from the Sword in the Stone. I'm going to Merlin the badge I know, which like is his most decorated badge. Like the hardest to get or whatever. And then I'm gonna just while holding it, just kind of like step to the side of him. Just like,
Hey, I believe you dropped this in all the ruckus.
He kind of side eyes you like,
Oh, Arthur, thank you for that. Didn't even realize I dropped it.
and before he grabs it, I just want to flick it behind me and allow it to disappear while it's still in the air. Just like,
Oh, sorry for the trick. People usually want their things back, and that's the best way to get their attention, is to have something they want back. But I had a question for you.
he looks generally annoyed at you right now. Like genuinely like pissed off. Like what the heck?
I had a question for you, and it is slightly urgent. I wanted to know if you had any information on trackers of human and animal variety, or if you had a soldier to spare with that skill.
You bothered me while I was disciplining my troops to ask me for a tracker.
Well, yes, if they've known you for long, they know that your discipline is to be taken to heart. A single word should strike fear into their souls. You shouldn't bother yourself with a whole sentence. One behave should be enough to scare them.
He like nods and he's like, yeah.
You heard that? Now, which one of you should I send out with him?
and this is where I just want to be a little bit like freaky. I just want to like slightly extend my wings. And just like,
And be sure you're up to it, because I can be just as bad as him at barking orders.
Okay, I wasn't gonna make you roll the persuasion check because that was actually a pretty good argument, but now that you're doing the wing thing, I want you to roll intimidation.
I don't have a bruh. I thought I had right.
And it is a DC 15 to pass,
Well, I rolled a 15 plus 2.
and you you got 17. They're kind of like, oh. These guys are from out of town. They don't know you. They've never seen you before. In fact, they probably have never seen an owlin before. And they're like...
And then common owlin as well. The common ones are short.
And they're just a little taken aback. One of them, though, he doesn't really seem to care too much. He glances at you, glances at the captain, and he just... And he's one of the 3 that came in before. The human man with the salt and pepper beard and the streaks of white hair on his head. And he clears his throat.
What kind of hunt are we talking about?
Well, it should just be slightly more dangerous than average vermin. But if it is required, it could also end up leading to more dangerous fighting.
You're saying we're just going after local rats?
Well, if it's local rats, it wouldn't have been posted as needing a group of people now, would it?
And he looks at the captain, and the captain kind of like shrugs at him, and he says, "It sounds to me like you volunteered for this Armen."
Armen, you say? Well, it definitely sounds like he has. That is a great choice you've made, Captain. You see, your brilliance even shines now.
Armin kind of like grumbles.
Alright. I guess I'm going with you. But just exactly how much extra am I getting paid for this hunt?
Oh, for any price extra, you'd have to take it up with the mayor. I didn't expect to get paid, but you can negotiate with the mayor and, of course, my assistant back there for any further payments.
My ear perks up. She's like, "What?"
So while you're having that conversation, over at the table, Hannah's playing her song, calming. She sees this whole interaction going on, and then she just hears a "Excuse me, is perhaps now time to have that drink?"
My character looks shocked and looks at the voice, which I'm assuming is Boar's.
Yeah, it's Boars. He's standing over you, and he actually has 2 pints in his hand, and he sets one down in front of you, and he sits at the chair next to you. You play pretty good.
She was kind of reclining a bit. She sits up straight and stops playing, and she's like, "Well, I don't really drink." And she also looks a little uncomfortable, and she just goes, "We're also about to head out. We have a mission of sorts. Quest, if you will."
A mission? What kind of mission does the wizard have? Is he going to make you clean that whole museum? It has a funny smell.
She kind of covers her mouth and does like a little laugh and composes herself, and she goes, "Well, that would be an easier task. We're going to look at some vermin at a farm? I don't know."
Oh, vermin at the farm? Which farm are you going to?
She kind of looks at Arthur, and she's like, "Arthur, what's the name of the farm?"
I don't remember how to repronounce it. The Gieshire farm. The Worcestershire farm.
The same family name as the town. Garage.
Oh, the garage.
Worcestershire farm.
You're saying garage with some extra steps. So yeah, go ahead, Arthur.
It's like, oh, forgotten already, have we? Forgetfulness is not good for an up-inspiring wizard. Here, you can have a look at this. But I am currently in a conversation with... what is your name again, boy? Oh, yes. Armin.
Arm and Hammer. Got it.
And I'll just quickly walk up to her and Merlin the paper.
Garash, that is my family farm. What is wrong with my family farm?
And he kind of like sits up a little straighter.
So Hannah like grabs the paper from Arthur, magicianified in the air, and she just grabs it like without skipping a beat, and she just places it in front of him, and she's like, "Well, that's the task we've been given. I mean, since it's your farm, you can come with us, but yeah."
Oh, well, I have to go home anyways. I might as well.
Excuse me for a minute. She's gonna get up and she's gonna go towards Miss Reinkoff.
And you walk up to her and she's having kind of an argument with one of the goblins in Goblinoid.
Rakata, Ushingdaba, Hitabakadun Haragiba, Haragiota.
Oti Luli Andokati.
Yagloy, Nogade, Arthur Nogade, Sima.
What'd you call my mother?
My character says, excuse me, Miss Reinkoff.
Oh, I'm sorry, dear. Your wizard friend told them that I would be giving them soup, and now I have problems.
My character laughs and shakes her head. She's like, well, actually, I was going to ask you if I could perhaps pay you to give them soup. I was thinking about it. They're working awfully hard, and you know, a warm meal after some hard work always hits different.
The goblin she was arguing with is like nodding his head like, yeah. And she like gives him the bombastic side eye like, ugh, and rolls her eyes.
And with what money are you planning to pay me? I thought you did not have any coin. And
she looks over at Arthur.
And I don't think he was going to pay you anything.
Well, I'm not a bank or anything, but I do receive coin. I have received coin in my travels over time, so I have some coin set aside.
You are going to pay for all of them?
She laughs a little shyly. She's like, yes, I don't see it being a problem. How much do you think you would need?
Do you have any idea how many of them there are?
No, but again, how much would you need?
You would need at least 10 gold to feed all of these goblins. And I don't even have all of that with me here.
So she just kind of puts her hand in her bag and then just whips it out. She's like, but that's all I have. She says it a little nervously. So I don't know. Like she's trying to convince her she doesn't have any more money so she doesn't get robbed or anything.
Yes, no home. No one to see. I believe this is all that you have. Why don't you hold on to it? Fine. I will feed them some soup. And you can pay it for it later.
My character shakes her head. She's like, no, really, I've got this money from my travels. I have no need or desire for anything. So my character is just like insistent. She's just sitting there and she's like, I don't buy anything. The music is all I need kind of thing. She's like, I feel much happier knowing that it's feeding somebody.
She looks you over.
All right.
And she puts her hand out.
She puts it in her hand.
She starts to count it slowly.
Very strange that such a kind person would have no one around. Alright, I will feed them their soup. Thank you for the gold, but I should warn you. You just made yourself their savior.
They will probably be asking you for more soup later. She just goes away.
My character like nervously laughs, and then she's like internally panicking because she's like, "Oh no, I was too nice." So she starts freaking out internally and starts walking out of the inn.
I want to catch her before she walks out the inn.
Bors is already following after her. Wait a minute. You're not going to leave without me, are you?
She looks a little frazzled and kind of looks at him like with a side eye, and then looks back forward, and she's like, "Oh, I mean, I'm just gonna wait for Arthur outside."
Oh, alright. I guess I'll wait for him out there too. Don't want to miss you guys leaving. Besides, you can ride with me in my wagon. The farm is quite a ways away.
So I go with him to his wagon.
Alright, and Arthur, are you done talking to them? Was there more you wanted to find out?
I asked them if they know how to hit the gritty. I can't think of anything to ask them. I got no idea.
So the captain dismisses you and Armin.
Alright. I tell him to follow along. Start going outside.
You sure you even need me? Looks like you got the big guy. And from the look of it, looks like he's quite taken with your apprentice.
I believe that the apprentice is headstrong and would rather... She is rather headstrong, and I think she would rather eat a frog than be with the princely guy. Dang it.
Doesn't he know that we're going to his farm, though? That he's gonna come with us anyways?
I know that he tried to hit on you like 3 times.
Yeah, but regardless, he's probably gonna take us to his house because that's where we're going.
You're gonna keep me in the storage area, me and Vermin, and then it's just gonna be you on the seat with him. The inner part of the carriage, and then we're just in the part where the luggage goes.
You could fly there.
Owls are some of the slowest birds on Earth.
Yeah, he would probably be faster if you like tied him to the back of the wagon and he flew like a kite
I
behind
was
it.
literally about to say that.
Okay, so you all load up into Bors's wagon and you head for the farm, unaware of what awaits you, unaware of what exactly this vermin is that you're going to face and hunt.
Worcestershire farm.
So we're going to take a moment now and cut away to another place a few hours earlier in the same day. And we find ourselves underground. The air is damp and a bit cold, and the smell of dirt just saturates the air. And there's like a faint sound of mumbling that begins to echo through the caves as it wakes up a small, scaly creature. Johnny, can you describe your character for us?
Small, blue-scaled, cultist robes. Yellow-eyed, and kind of small. Goes by the name of Chef.
Okay. And what exactly is Chaff doing in this cave?
Most likely reading a book.
Alright. And what book is he reading?
Whatever scripture is his clan's religion.
Okay, I think that's about right. You wake up, there's a big old book sitting on your lap, and kind of like rub your eyes, look down again at the Holy Writ, and you hear the mumbling in the distance, and it sounds familiar to you. but at the same time it's a little unsettling as you know that you were trying to escape this.
Startled, I look around for the source of the voice again.
It kind of echoes in these caves. It's such an intricate network, it could be coming from anywhere. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a perception check?
That'd be an 11.
Okay, you actually have a hard time pinpointing exactly where the voices are coming from, and as you scan around, you see several boxes and crates full of different supplies, most of which you know were stolen. And you see several different exits to the room you're in. About 8 of which you know for sure actually lead somewhere and don't just loop back into the same room.
Alright, I try the one closest to me, just peering.
Just peering, you said?
Yeah.
You look down that corridor and you don't see anything.
But do I still hear the voice?
You still hear it echoing through the caverns, yes, but you don't see it.
I try going down there then.
Alright. So you go down maybe 5-10 minutes before you make it to another open chamber, and it seems to be just more of the same, some crates and stuff like that. Except in this chamber you do find 2 other kobolds digging away at a wall.
Do they notice anything?
They are focused on what they're doing.
I guess not. Alright, I'm gonna try listening intently on the voice.
It does seem to be getting closer towards where you are, and it does begin to sound a little clearer, and you just hear in Elvish, "Where has he gone? Find him. Find that book."
Stash the book away, first of all. And, let's just, go a bit deeper. Like, into this room if there's any exits.
Where exactly are you planning to stash this book?
I have a backpack.
Okay, so you're gonna throw it in your backpack and then you're gonna head deeper down this path?
Yeah.
Okay, there are other exits in this same chamber, and the kobolds do kind of turn to look at you, and they don't really seem to care too much. They've seen you around, they've seen your robes, they know who you are, and they just go back to their digging. And as you look around the room, there's 3 other exits. One that is dead ahead of you, one that seems to be hiding behind the set of crates in this room, and then there's one kind of immediately to your right that seems to go back and up in the way you came, sort of.
Go towards the one dead ahead. It's the most likely direction I'd go.
Okay. You scurry on dead ahead, and it doesn't take you more than 5 minutes before you begin to hear some more frantic shouting in Elvish that seems to be coming from the direction you're headed in. And you begin to see torchlight lighting up this part of the cavern a bit more as the footsteps become more prominent, and you hear the clinging of metal and gear as soldiers march down the corridor.
Run in the other direction. Back the way I came, I guess.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to roll a stealth check to see if you were seen.
Ooh, natural 1. Alright, stealth is 3.
You panic for a second as you hear the marching and the shouting just long enough for them to round the corner and spot you as you're turning to run. "There he is! There's the little thief! Get him!" And they're just booking it after you now.
Yep, definitely time to start running.
You have a good enough distance from them that what I am going to say is we will do this in 3 turns before they catch you. So you have 3 turns to figure something out. Okay, so what we'll do is you'll run, dash, and you'll roll another stealth check to see if you can hide away before they catch up to you in any one of the various tunnels that have been dug throughout this place. Okay?
Okay.
And with each one that you fail, the DC will get higher. So we'll start with the first one being a DC 12.
All right. Rolling for stealth. Is that a 6 or a 9? That's a 6, I think.
You rolled a flat 6, or what do you add to that?
Adding for stealth?
Correct.
All right. That's a 9.
9 total?
Yeah.
Okay, so you fail the first one. They're getting a little bit closer now. Go ahead and roll another one. And now it is a DC 15.
And that's another 6. All right.
Oh, man. They are even closer now, and you've just passed the room that you saw those other 2 kobolds in. One more roll.
I have a plan after this. Natural 1. Not gonna win that.
Alright, so this is what I'll allow you to do, because you have actions and all of that. If you have a spell or anything you want to do out of desperation to get out of this, I will give you one chance to do that. If it fails, you are captured.
Alright, one action. I am going to throw the book at them.
You're gonna throw the book back at them?
Yeah.
Alright. Is this you attempting to attack them, or are you attempting to distract them?
Well, if they're looking for the book, maybe they'll stop chasing me after they have it.
Okay. So what this will get you is another chance to run. And so you'll need to roll another stealth check after you chuck the book.
Alright. Ooh. Dirty 20.
Nice. Awesome. So, they're chasing you. They're catching up. You try to duck and weave through these caves in the best way you know how, but they're onto you, man. They are hunting you down, and just before they get their hands on you, you turn around and swing that book up into their faces, and they get thrown back by this, trying to catch the book. And in that moment of focusing in on the book coming at them, they lose sight of you as you duck into a side tunnel that gives way, and suddenly you roll down into another cavern in a lower part of this network. And you are alone in the dark now.
Well, there's no point in hiding. I'm going to book it.
Which direction are you heading?
Maybe I'll hide out in my bedroom, wherever it is.
Alright, easy enough. So you don't exactly have a bedroom in this cave system, but you do have a place where all the kobolds kind of communally sleep. And so you're close enough to there where you landed. And it doesn't take you long to kind of make your way down into this sort of nesting room, if you will. And there's quite a few kobolds that are just kind of laying there. And as you begin to walk in, you do notice there are, as usual, there's several elven guards in this much older armor set standing on either side of the entryways with spears. And they kind of eye you as you're walking in. And for the moment, it seems they're completely unaware of what you were just up to.
Casually walk by them, or past them.
They let you pass. They don't seem to give you much mind.
Alright, once I get to the sleeping quarters, I, go under the covers, try to fall asleep, pretend nothing ever happened.
Alright. And for how long are you trying to do this for?
About a short rest, I'd guess. Like maybe 30 minutes.
Okay. And are you staying in your robes?
Yeah.
Okay. You rest for about 30 minutes, and by the time you wake up, you begin to hear a bit of a commotion outside of this nesting area.
Draw the covers completely over my head. I am asleep.
Are you pretending to be asleep?
Yes, pretending.
Alright, go ahead and roll me a performance check.
I hate these dice. Natural 1. And switching dice.
You are the worst faker at sleeping ever. You're like pretending to snore and everything, and you're doing the obvious. In fact, you're so bad at it that you're actually drawing attention to yourself from the guards, and you notice it.
Alright, that's not working. Are there any other exits to this room?
This is a fairly large room, like a massive amount of kobolds just laying around, sleeping, or sitting there picking their teeth, and other things kobolds do on their free time. And you see maybe 2 other large entrances to this place, as well as 3 or 4 smaller ones that only kobolds use to get in and out.
Alright, I'll take one of those.
There's 2 by the way you came in. There's 1 by the way across from that entrance. There's another one that is dead center of the room that is probably the largest of them, that it kind of goes into the ground at an angle.
Alright, furthest from the guards is...
Probably the one that's dead center of the room. You would know it does lead down further into the network and not out towards an exit.
I'll start moving towards an exit.
Okay. You do see one entranceway is where the commotion is coming from, and the other one is not got a commotion going on. It seems that whatever is happening, the communication is slow.
Alright, the one opposite to that.
So you start running out towards there. You make your way through that little channel, and it actually takes you back up towards the next level. And you come out into a hallway that, for the moment, seems quiet.
Time to make some plans. Let's see. If they're looking for me anywhere in the cave, then I shouldn't be in the cave at all. I'm gonna leave.
You know your way out, but there's quite a few obstacles between you and your way out. So, you could do this one of 3 ways. You could attempt to roll a stealth check at every obstacle. You can try to burrow your way out, which will take you very long. Or you could face each obstacle as you approach it.
I'll tackle each obstacle as it comes.
Use the pink die for this. So you begin to make your way out towards where you know the exit is. And as you're doing so, you begin to feel like maybe you're not sure this is the right way. Some of the stones begin to look identical. Some of the pathways begin to turn in directions that make you feel like you've been going in circles. And then you stop for a moment to look around. I'm gonna need you to roll a wisdom saving throw. And the DC here is 13.
Wisdom saving. Alright. 14.
Nice. As you begin to look around, you begin to realize it's not you that's turned around. There's some veneer of magic that has been pulled over your senses, and you shake your head and suddenly everything begins to come back into focus, and you realize that you had wandered into some sort of strange magic field that was obscuring your ability to tell where you were. And you continue on. No problem. Oof. As you continue up the way, you find yourself in yet another open space that is not too far from the exit. You know that you're close, and you get excited and you rush ahead, only to be greeted by 2 armored kobolds who come scurrying out from 2 other passageways, and they hiss at you. And in Draconic they say, "It's him, the traitor. Capture him." And I need you to roll initiative.
18.
Alright, so they rolled lower than you did. So it is your turn first.
Alright, I am just going to get around them, like run towards the exit somehow.
If you attempt to, they will both get an opportunity attack on you.
Oh, they're that close, huh?
Right, this is not a very... Like, the space itself is large, but these guys are standing by your exit.
Alright, I won't be able to do much against them, though. Alright, what other exits are there?
This is your only exit. The closer you get to the surface, the less twists and turns and varying channels there are.
I'm gonna have to fight them, aren't I?
Yep.
Alright, 1 second. Cast Eldritch Blast, and also as a bonus action, I'll do Draconic Cry.
Okay, remind me what Draconic Cry does, and also roll your attack.
Alright, Draconic Cry. As a bonus action, you let out a cry at your enemies within 10 feet of you. Until the start of your next turn, you and your allies have advantage on attack rolls against any of those enemies who could hear you. You can use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Okay, and they don't have... There's no saving throw or anything like that against it.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll your attack with advantage then, which at that distance from them would essentially be just a flat roll.
Alright, let me see. Alright, spell attack is +4. That'd be 12.
You hit?
Where is the damage? Oh, 1d10. Okay. Alright. Rolling. And 8.
8 damage.
Yeah.
You glance between the two, and you let out this shriek that kind of makes them jerk back a bit as they hear it. And you turn to the one on your left, and you mutter some incantation in a language they don't understand, and your hand suddenly glows a bright white color, and these sort of ethereal wisps begin to twist around your arm and surround the white ball that is now formed in your hand, and you fire off your blast, and the one on your left just incinerates. There's nothing left but a scorch mark on the wall behind him. And the other one looks at this and then looks at you angrily and readies his spear. What's your armor class?
14.
That's a 16 to hit. And he just angrily and viscerally just lunges a spear right into your gut. And you take 8 damage. It is now your turn again.
Alright, Eldritch Blast again.
Okay, roll it flat.
Ooh, that was even higher now.
What'd you get?
Total of 13.
Okay, you hit.
That was a 9.
9. He jabs into you with the spear, and you just instinctively, with your right hand, just reach out, and it lights up again and just blasts his head off. And there's just a plop as his body drops to the ground, and you stand alone with the spear still in you.
Only I had proficiency in medicine. Just pull out the spear, run out the door as best I can.
Alright. You have one more challenge left. Let's see what it is. Alright.
Will I survive this one?
This is the easiest challenge you could have.
If you say so.
As you approach the exit, there is a room that has a ladder that leads upwards into an abandoned shack. But standing in this room, above the cave network, is a sleeping guard. You need to roll one last stealth check with a DC 10 to sneak past them.
Alright, dice, don't fail me now. Yes. 18 and plus 3.
He has no idea that you're there. You climb up the ladder, and remembering the guard is there, you quietly crawl up into the space and tiptoe your way past him. And instead of opening the door that creaks, you find a large enough gap that any kobold could fit through, and you pass through without anyone knowing where you've gone. And you find yourself in the woods, just north of a clearing where there's an open field with crops. Rows and rows and rows of what appears to be ears of corn.
Ooh, corn. I'll take some of those. I'll grab a few, stuff it into my backpack, and then travel a safe distance away.
Which direction are you headed in?
I don't exactly know the area.
Are you going into the clearing? Or, better said, into the field?
If it seems safe.
It does. You know that these are the fields that more or less several of your other kobold cohorts have been scavenging food from.
But historically speaking, have there been any, the people who are chasing me?
What do you mean?
Like, I've been there before. Do they usually patrol the area?
You belong to them.
Yeah.
And you stole something from them. So, as far as you know, your entire life, you've served them. And to the best of your knowledge, you know that this is a new area for you. You can go ahead and roll me a history check to see if you know whether or not, maybe by overhearing or something, if this area is patrolled and how much they control of it.
Alright, I'll take that. 5.
Again, you just know what's been down in the caves. This is a first for you being on the surface. As far as you know, that shack was it. You exited and you're home free.
Alright. Just run across. Not really dashing, but running.
Okay. You're running through the fields. 5, 10, 15 minutes. You begin to slow down into a walk as you feel at ease. No one's following you. You don't see anyone ahead. And And as you're walking, you suddenly begin to hear talking in the distance. Not shouting, not the usual barking of orders and cries of your brethren, but you hear a discussion, and it sounds like someone looking for something or someone in the field. But the accent is different. The way they speak is different. It's not what you're accustomed to.
Alright, I still understand them though.
Correct.
Get a bit closer, not too close that they can see me or I can see them. Just close enough that I can hear what they're saying.
As you approach, the first thing you see is a covered wagon that is drawn by a horse that has been pulled off to the side of the road. And a large number of the crops in this area seem to have been torn up in a fashion that leads you to believe it was your people that did it. And kind of crouched over the area are a couple of farm hands and a few people that don't seem to be farm hands. You see one large half-elf man in armor with a large sword slung over his back. You see an older human man with salt and pepper beard and white streaks in his hair who seems to be scanning the area around them. And he's dressed in a double-breasted coat, and he has what appears to be two silver-looking weapons in holsters at his sides. You see a young elven woman with reddish-brown hair who's jotting something down in a notebook, and a rather dapper-looking owlin with an oversized top hat just stroking his own chin, talking about things he remembers. And that's where we leave off. Hello, friends, and thank you for joining us on yet another episode of The Silent Bard Tavern in our Phantoms of Talva campaign. We also thank you ahead of time for joining us for our next episode, The Offender. When will that be, you might ask? Well, I realize I didn't put this in the first episode, but you can more or less expect episodes to release every first and third Monday of the month, which basically means there will be 2 episodes monthly. Why not just say bi-weekly? Well, that's because there will be 2 extra Mondays somewhere in there, and I just don't want to do that much work. So it'll just be 2 releases per month, first and third Monday, making our 3rd episode launched on the 3rd of February. Alright? Well, don't forget to tip the tabaxi on your way out, and please don't feed the waitress. Seriously.